Hello, good morning, everyone. It's truly an honor to be able to speak at this special event organized by PAMSC. I do not really call myself an architect because I'm actually a lecturer teaching in the university. In fact, when called me to send some of my works to him and compile into a poster, I was freaked out because basically as a lecturer, we don't do much work. If I do any works and without the title, perhaps we may be labeled as illegal, you know. So, but today what I'm going to share is that it's basically why, in fact, the way how we incorporate the real life projects into the teaching. And of course, we will need some helps of the architects and also some friends, and to really turn it into a meaningful projects. In fact, to me, this is really a special journey. I'm not sure how many of you heard of Sungai Buloh leprosy settlement. Anyone of you been to that place? No. Yeah, we got some. A lot of people visited that place is because of the nurseries. It has a beautiful nurseries. In fact, it's the largest nurseries in the country. I first encountered to this place actually introduced by a friend, also a lecturer now teaching in UTM. And actually he told me that one day he just got lost. He drove into a path that guided him to a very special place that he described to me. You must come here to see this special place. It's like totally different from our world, you know. This is actually a leprosy settlement. I knew that Sarawak also have one leprosy settlement, I think probably in Kuching. Leprosy means that it's a segregation camp for the, we used to call them lepers, but now we prefer to call them leprosy sufferers, or maybe they are basically cure patient. These are the houses that we found in the village, and the number plates of the houses, you could see that JKR number 1. Yeah, there are total, I think, more than 1,000 houses within the settlements. When I first encountered visited this place, to my surprise, that most of the houses are empty. Yeah, and I wonder where are these people? Yeah, because it's actually not far from Kuala Lumpur. It's about 10 kilometers, and beautiful place. I even thought that when you maybe just cycle and you walk into, you forgot that you are in fact in Malaysia, because the context is totally different. From our experience, small, moderate-sized houses. At the end, actually, after study, that we just realized that used to be the second largest leprosy settlement in the world, and most of the houses are dilapidated because that the numbers of the leprosy patients has reduced to, I think, from 2,000 over to hundreds over. So most of the houses are vacant. And we actually have a few rounds of survey and walk into these places. And then we found that there are some excavator doing, basically they begin to demolish the houses. These excavators are rented by the operator of the nurseries because they need more spaces to grow their plants. So they begin to demolish the houses, even without informing the authority. But even actually to the end that we found a signboard. Only a few patients, disabled, elderly, found at the place. Yeah, and then we found this sign, and then we further went to search for the more information about this. We realized that actually the whole site has been converted. Yeah? And the government actually intend to turn it into Medicity. So we have UITM School of Medicine, and also there will be 5-star hospital and hotel coming up soon. Since the numbers of the people has decreased, I think the government has a plan to completely wipe off this the history of the place. So when we check the history of this site, together with Dr. Lim, and we found that this place actually founded by Dr. Travers in 1929. Started with unhealthy zone, and actually leprosy is a disease that a lot of people actually has misunderstood it. We thought that it's contagious, it's dangerous. So that's why I think even in the Bible it stated that if a leper should not stand at the direction when the winds prevail from. And even I think they have a special rules for the lepers that they should not go to the market. And in Malaya at that time, we have segregation camp. I think in India we found a few, and Philippines. These are all basically segregation camp. The environment is basically like a prison, yeah. But these people are basically innocent. They are not guilty. But we just place them into a segregation camp just because that they contact with the disease. So it's like our understanding to AIDS, 20 years, probably 20 years ago. And Dr. Travers, he was first appointed as officers at Kuala Lumpur Leprosy Asylum. And then he found that the environment is really bad and it's unhygiene, and there's totally no treatment to the people, and they only provide drugs, drugs just to help them to secure from the pain. And then he proposed a paper during a conference in 1923 in Singapore. Then he proposed a paper to suggest to build a more humane, better leprosarium for the leper patient. And also this, indeed his idea, this should no longer call a segregation camp, but it's a leprosarium, and also provide with the treatment and proper, they even have a research center inside. So this was the plan at Sungai Buloh. Is it pointed? Okay. The western section is basically where the patient, they first admit to the hospital, they will need to go through the checkup, and then after they confirm they encounter with the disease, they will have to stay at the east section, which is the healthy zone. And since then, they are not allowed to go out from the hospital. So it's completely segregated. And in 1935, the government thought this is actually a successful scheme, a plan. Then they further extend to build more houses, and then the government decided to close all the leprosarium in Penang, Malacca, Johor, and move all the patients to Sungai Buloh. That make it the second largest leprosarium in the world. So the total size of the settlement is close to 540 acres. 540 acres. The largest leprosarium in the world is found in Philippines, and we are the second largest. So bear in mind that this was designed in 1930, when Charles Reed, the first planner in Malaya, introduced the ideas of garden city planning in Kuala Lumpur. He failed. He held several exhibitions and tried to convince the town council to accept the ideas of future planning, town planning, that he failed. But he was appointed as a planner to design the settlement for the leprosy patient. This was the first well-planned settlement for people that is actually you can see that it's really adhere to the principles of garden city planning. You have the administration zone, and you have the quarters living, and within the quarters you have a market, you found a market, and these houses are surrounded by green belt. Yeah. So back in 1930s when my great-grandfather, I think they still stay at the atap houses. Yeah. But these people, they started to enjoy this better housing, and also they are provided with the treatment. So this is of the travels, and from this is a graveyard. So from this tomb, you will see that he was first appointed as a medical officer at the lepers asylum in the district hospital in Kuala Lumpur. And during this time, then he proposed the idea to build another settlement in Kuala Lumpur, in Sungai Buloh, sorry. So when Dr. Travers took over the control in KL asylum, then he found that this is a very typical scene that he found in the lepers asylum, that it's packed. Yeah, it's like basically a prison. It's just provided with a bed and no treatment at all. They were just given drugs to heal. And some of the residents, they try to find their own remedies by just consume the fruits from the tree, a special kind of fruits. It's like a prison. It was like living hells at Kuala Lumpur leper asylum. This leper asylum was closed after the people who moved to Sungai Buloh, then turned into now the Titi Wangsa Park. Yeah, Titi Wangsa the garden. Yeah, the environment was poor, dirty, and crime and fighting, suffering, hopeless, and fear. Yeah, so Travers, then he was provoked to look for a better solution for this enlightened policy. So he's basically proposed the enlightened policy with 8 principles. First is that the size of land should be suitable for the numbers of the people, and also that it should have a certain distance from the town, so that, because at that time they are not sure that whether this disease is contagious. And for your information, this disease is only confirmed non-contagious in 1980. So it has to be distant away from the town, and because we are basically segregate the people, so they have to be self-supporting ability, and social, cultural, spiritual needs, rebuilding village life, no fences, encourage interactions, and provide medication and research. These are basically the principles. It's much better than the previous asylum found in many places. So this is a photo taken, the west section, which is a hospital setting, a typical tropical setting. And this is Dr. Green overseeing the settlements. Yeah. The houses, even the wards are built with the conscious with tropical environment, so that it's basically encourage ventilation. Yeah, it's quite cooling. Even now we visit the wards, you still find it quite decent, you know, to live in. Yeah. And the people at the peak period, I think the numbers of the leprosy patient or residents increased to 2,400 over. 400 over, then they form their own society, and they will have different kind of activities. Yeah. And some of them are children. Yeah. When I did a survey at the settlement, I interviewed a few people. We thought that they always looks like elderly, but you know that when they first came to the hospital, they were like 8 years old, 9 years old, like these photos. And this is Teoh Kim. Yeah, she was admitted to the hospital at the age of 9, and she passed away at 90. Yeah, I actually interviewed a few people like her, and they share with us their story. Like, I still vividly remember that a story talking about a little girl, and she was about 9 years old, and she found the family found that she got some rashes that cannot be cured by normal treatment. So then they suspect that she already got this disease. Then the family took her to the hospital and checked. After checking, then the doctor confirmed that she contained the disease. So the family have no choice but to send her to this hospital. That is really a heartbreaking moment. And she told me that the last day, her father took her to the playground with a motorcycle and then allowed her to play whole day until evening, then sent her to the hospital. Yeah, after she admitted to the hospital, then she never met her father again. Yeah, until she passed away recently. Yeah. And the people, in fact, ironically, they thought that this is like a hell place, you know, all the people are the leprosy patient, but they themselves called this place a valley of hope. Yeah? Because they found out that, in fact, they have no choice but to be segregated and live in this place for the entire life, and they have no choice. But they found that actually the planning, the facilities that provided to them are satisfying, quite satisfying. So, and they have their own event, and in 1960, there were a lot of association formed by the people, and they were quite active. Yeah. So this is basically the history of this place, and from the first day admitted to the hospital till they pass away, they are not allowed to go out from the hospital. Yeah. So when we knew that there's a construction going to happen at the place, we continue to find more information on it. And after contact with Padang Warisan, and we knew that Padang Warisan actually has a plan to survey the area, to conduct a documentation of these old buildings, and to also suggest to the government to preserve it as a heritage site. Yeah, because it is the second largest in the world. This is the original plan. In 2007, a portion of the site was demolished. Yeah. This is the photo. Ironically, the demolition began right after the celebration of Merdeka Day. Yeah. And we fought with a group of activists. We went to the site and we countered with the developers and the contractors. And even Jabatan Warisan were with us that time, and they issued a stop working order for 2 weeks, but just that we could not stop the demolition. So after 2007, consider 25% of the site, yeah, has been given away to UiTM development. Yeah, so this is the former prison. Yeah, they even have their own prison. Alright, so I just show you the satellites and how much impact during the demolition. So this was taken in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and sorry, too fast. Yeah, so you could see that this area is basically the area that I show you the Garden City planning, the beautiful black and white photo. The area, half of it's gone, half of the area gone, and to receive this new development of the new campus of UiTM. But this never stopped us, the activists, from further to, because we still have 75%. Yeah, when this event happened, and I was interviewed by the reporter asking whether we declared a failure of this movement, and I said that if we did not do anything, that is a total failure. Yeah, if we lost 25%, we still have 75%. We continue to fight for it. At least we get 75 marks. Yeah. So this is a photo of the development. So now what you see is that the new, I would say, this ugly modern building shooting up from the beautiful site. So what the Solidarity group decided to do after the incident, we continue to fight further, and when I regard that we, it actually consists of a bunch of people, not only from the university, and so a lot of them, they are lawyers and social workers and teachers. Yeah, we just form a solidarity group and begin to have campaigns to fight, and we try to reach out all the way to the Prime Minister and speak to him. of this issue. There were several activities that were carried out after the incidents. Basically, we have heritage tour, publication, public talk, and exhibition. That is basically to create the awareness for the publics, and also basically these are the photo. I did not calculate how many people actually visited the place here, but a rough estimation it should be more than 3,000 people. Before that, not many people actually know the historical significance of the site. They just visit it because of the nurseries, beautiful scene, and maybe they just went for cycling. And after we conduct the heritage walk, and more people begin to aware of the importance of the place. And children and elderly are welcome to join. Yeah. So this is a very important person that continued to fight from 2007 until today. So it's Miss Tan Yen Nee. Tan Yen Nee was a former NTV television presenter, and she was the one who interviewed me of this incident. And then after that, she decided to resign from her post, and she joined the groups. And she led another group because she's a journalist. So what she can do is that to interview the people, to dig up more story about the people, and that's why at the end we have a story gallery. Yeah. So we have a public talk, try to create awareness, and also try to give more pressure to the authority and to really look into the issue here. Yeah, heritage walk and even cycling. Yeah, the section is here. Okay, and even publication, picture books. All right, and for architecture school, what we could help is we brought students to the site and we measured the building, and we even make it a studio project, design project. And that project is basically with the studio works, we can have a site model easily, yeah. And this site model can be the material for the exhibition. Yeah, and we did some funny studio projects, but that is really not relevant because this is year 2 projects. We are talking about having a cafe, maybe converting a chalet into a cafe or a restaurant. Yeah, and actually I also led a group of Taiwanese students. We conduct a survey of 2 months. We interviewed the people and also did drawing on the house, and also to conduct inventory studies on the artifacts. So the villagers began to took up their old photos and share the story with us. And community workshops, and this workshop we try to engage with the people to understand whether they are okay with the relocation or whether they are really unhappy with the situation that the government forced them to move. Yeah, so we conduct a workshop. Yeah, and even met the hospital. And I was actually kicked out by this director of the hospital when I was conducting a survey on the site. And he sent the security and just chased me out. He said, I don't want to see you anymore, because he didn't get my permission to conduct it. And I knew that they would never give us a permission, because we are going to fight to save the site, because the hospital are somehow more towards the development. Yeah. So, and we also organize activities, help to restore the activities. As I mentioned that when these people were young, they have their own association. They were so active, and I think within the site you will see a lot of event, football club, everything. Yeah. But when we visited the place in 2007, most of them are 70 years old and 80 years old, no longer active. So we help them to do the community events. Yeah. So like Lantern Festival and the markets, trying to restore the relationships of the people at the site and to reactivate the council. Yeah. And at the end, the council even changed their constitution to accept 2 new members, because originally the constitution only allowed the leprosy patient to be the member and also to be the elected committee. In order to do more activities, and Ms. Tan actually managed to convince them to accept a new member who is not a former leprosy patient. So we even come up with a logo design of the site. Ms. Tan, as I said, that he's a journalist, so after she interviewed the people, she found that a lot of patients, in fact, they have children, or maybe they have family. Of course they have family, but they just couldn't get in touch with the family. So she then thought maybe it's a good way to help to reconnect the people with their own original family, or even with their own children. And this there's a regulation in the settlement that they do not allow this leprosy patient to, they allow them to marry, but they not allow them to raise their own kids. So normally the baby, when the baby was born, the second day will be sent out. Yeah, sent out. So it was a really painful memory to the people. So after advertisement and publication, Yenny managed to reconnect the people. There are a few successful cases. For instance, like this lady, she's the daughter of this woman. Yeah, this lady, she read the newspaper and she found out that this leprosy patient is calling out for the leprous patient's descendants. So she wrote in and to check that, because she heard from the foster mother that she was born at this place. So she tried to come and search through the data. Then she found her mother has passed away. But since then, they always come back to do Ching Ming every March, every year with the family. Yeah, so you could see that these are fathers and daughters. Yeah, these are the reunion of the mother and the daughters. So, and the next step is to have this national listing. We try to push all the way to the ministry to gather this place as a heritage site. Yeah, there's a lot of issue here, but after meeting, then at the end, the ministry finally agreed. So from 2007 until 2015 or 16, then they said that they are on the way. Yeah, to gather. Yeah, we were meeting with the pengarah of Jabatan Warisan, and then even the ultimate step is basically to go further for the World Cultural Heritage listing. Yeah. So with that, we tied up with the international organization from Taiwan, from Japan, from Philippines, from India, that to share with them our case, and also we had, in fact, to our surprise, that they were actually quite amazed by the works that we've done here. Yeah. Okay. The second part is I'm going to talk about another journey that after the campaign that we continue to move on to another stuff, like I myself teaching and starting to engage with the another community. I start doing, like previously I was invited to share the Kualas Petang project here. So after Kualas Petang projects, I was invited to share the experience of hands-on design and build with a student at TEDx Petaling Street. Yeah. During TEDx Petaling Street, I met Yenny again, and Yenny was so surprised that, oh, your student can do things. So now we have a project. We want to build a story gallery at this leprosy settlement. Can your student build it? Yeah. The Dewan Orang Ramai, built in 1957 with public donation. And this is the place where these people used to pak tor, and it's a cinema, so they used to, it's a gathering place for them. Has a collective memory, that one orang ramai. So, this is a unique building that is completely controlled by the Leprosy Council. That means by the people themselves, right? It's not by the hospital, yeah? But it's still within the site of the hospital. So they can make a decision to alter the building, to change from whatever things that is in their planning. So I was told that we can do anything within the building, yeah. And but I was quite worried because I knew that we are going to go for national listing and also for the UNESCO listing. So if we did something completely different approach and to change the landscape or the looks of the building, it might affect the listing. So, and after the meeting, I told Yenny that maybe we can do it inside rather than outside. Yeah. So with that, I proposed to her that I want to make it a studio project. Again, the good thing is that with the 6 months of studio projects, what we can do is we come up with different solutions. Instead of one solution that proposed by the architects, I have 40 students, that I have 40 solutions. Yeah, with that 40 solution, then perhaps I think averagely we get 15 to 20% that is so-called usable one. Then we choose good students' work to exhibit, yeah, at the place, and we ask the council member to vote. Yeah. So from January 2016, we have project 1 all the way to the final projects, and we plan to have a fundraising campaign during the exhibition. Yeah, that was the idea. So during the studio project, I asked the student to interview, of course, to interview people, but what they should do is that not to only document it through writings or even video. We have to try to interpret it with architecture. Yeah. So they were asked to construct an installation in the school, and we invite the committee member, the council, to visit the school and talk about their own feelings and how do they feel about the space, how do they feel about the journey. Yeah. So this is installation built inside the school in our gallery. Different groups, students work. Yeah. And they printed out photos, and these are some quotes that they interviewed the people. They found it, this is really like, now I'm the only last one, yeah, the one left. So after 75 years, I'm still here. Yeah. So this is a special feeling that when you visit the gallery, you should be getting. In fact, when we invited the people to this exhibition, I was so worried about how do they feel about, yeah, being, I would say this is a bit dark and quite negative, isn't it? But they are fine with it because I think they have already get used to this. What they want to know is that, because the reason why they want to have this story gallery is to pass on this story to the people, yeah, to appreciate what they have done for the people. Okay, so these are the committee member. This is doctor from Sungai Buloh Hospital, and during the end of the semester we have this presentation, students' work. 40 students presented their works to the lecturer, and I choose, I'm not sure, it's I think 8 to 10 students' work, and we brought it to the settlement and exhibit in August. And during the exhibition, we have to do our own exhibition booth. There's nothing inside the hall, so we have to use. There's a workshop. Luckily, there's a workshop at the settlement because, as I said, that a lot of them they are given different jobs, and so they have their own workshop. So we use the recycled material. Then we come up with a frame, then exhibit works, photography by professional photographer. And during the launching, we have about 500 people joining the event. And after 6 months, we got enough fund. That is about 700,000 ringgit. Yeah. So this is the report covered by the newspaper. And after we got sufficient fund, and then I went out and talked to the architects, Saxons, Chin Chang, I think you probably know these people, and Jetat, and that is what I call it collective efforts. Yeah. And we, let's say I am a lecturer, I cannot do it myself, so I will need to get a bunch of friends to work together. So, and after we got some ideas from students' work, and then we further refined it, then we presented it to the hospital, and as hospital, we would like to find out that whether this project we will need to go through proper procedures. Let's say, for example, tree quotation. You need to get a proper contractor, or we need to submit this to the authority. At the end, the pengarah just told me that no, you just treat it as an interior renovation project. It's a simple project. Yeah. So with his consent, then we begin the works. Yeah. This is the hall. And we are only given a small portion of it. So at first I thought that I can do a lot of things inside the hall. But after a meeting with the committee member, they also insist that these are the 2 badminton courts where they can get revenue. They sometimes they rent this place out for badminton players, and even during weekend there will be some wedding occasion. Yeah, they will get some income from this event. So it's only a small part. Yeah. So the challenge is that we are allowed to build within this small part. And the other challenge is that since I said that this is a historical building, we are not going to damage the building. So the challenge is that to have this structure coming up from the existing building, we are not allowed to excavate the footing. So our solution is to put the steel plate. Yeah, we bolt the steel plate onto the floor, and we check the thickness of the slab. Basically, it's strong enough, and we decided this way to have light steel structure and to have new space coming within the building, up within the building. So this is an interesting project that people, when they visit the gallery, they will have to visit this common open gallery to understand the brief history of the place. Then after that, they will be taken out for a walk. Heritage walk at the site. After come back to this building, it will be very hot. So this is the container with aircon, so they can take a rest and then watch a documentary. Then after the end of the tour, they are guided to through this exit way, through a ramp, through the exit way, and they will reach this canteen and a library. And beside this canteen is a large green that the children can play, so they can enjoy a good afternoon. These events usually happen during weekend. This is during the groundbreaking ceremony, and the works began. The internal part it was designed by Shin Chang from Mentameta, and the outside was designed by Saxon and Jetat. I think Jetat, you probably know him, right? He's also from Kuching. Cebu. Okay, so this is Cebu's work. All right, and I will be designing this shelter. So this is our second phase. We will continue to get more fund from the public. So this is going to be converted into a library and a cafe. And interesting things about this shelter is that it's a Mercedes-Benz shelter. Why Mercedes-Benz? Because the patient are not welcomed by the taxi. Yeah, if they want to go out, to visit anyone outside, they will normally call the Grab, but they are not welcomed by the taxi. So at the end, the council decided to buy their own car. So they bought a Mercedes-Benz. Bought a Mercedes-Benz, and they hired a driver who is also a Lepos. Yeah. And this is, and my student actually did a ramp. Both of them, actually one of them is from Kuching, Felix. Yeah, I would like to show a video clip. So finally, the gallery was opened in February last year. Yeah. We invited the former officers all the way from UK to attend. He's 90 years old. So the patient was so happy to meet the doctors again after, I think, probably 40, 50 years. So this is during the ceremony. Yeah. So we have more and more volunteers joining the task force, and now we have enough young force to be the interpreter of the place. And this is where I said you enjoy the aircon at this place. Yeah. After the long, about 2 hours walk at that site. Yeah. So this is the landscape work done by Saksan and Jetat. And we found a remnant site at the back of the hall, and we decided to do something. Saksan thought it's a good idea to have a village green. So to clear off the site and make it a place for children, for people after the tired walk, and the children can have an interesting playground outside. Yeah, and storytelling outside. Yeah. So there's another movie.
個禮拜推我去割肉㗎，一笪咁割啲肉去現啊！
喲，痛到死5cc 啊！打個手呢次打到成個腫啊！
成身黑晒啊，流啲汗出嚟都黑㗎。
1930年代以前，麻风病并没有药物治疗，一旦患病，病患就必须受隔离，也因此遭受各种歧视和污名。1964年，希望之谷的研究室发现了全球第一宗胺苯口抗药性病例，让麻风药物研究有了极大突破，也使希望之谷在国际间声名大噪。
When I went to Geneva in the 70s and the 80s, I said I am from Sungai Buloh Leprosarium. Oh, high respect, really high respect.
2016年，参议会通过投票决定设立故事馆，展示院民的生命史和贡献。
他们早年在隔离期间曾经以他们的身体用他们的身体来做活体的实验，促成麻风病特效药的诞生。再来就是他们开始开拓这里的土地，种植花草树木让苏艾部落成为花卉批发的重镇，以及他们为了守护他们的下一代把孩子送出去，忍受着这个骨肉分离之痛，这些都是他们最伟大的贡献。
人类在某一个历史时段，有时候回顾之后呢，发现到显得有一点愚昧，有一点无知，充满偏见，充满敌意，充满歧视。那我觉得我们这个双溪毛肉麻风病院社区的这个保存，具有提醒后人的这个历史功能跟教育意义。
PKKN sekarang kita pun ada pakar geriatrik, iaitu pakar perubatan geriatrik, iaitu yang menguruskan orang-orang tua. Jadi pusat latihan leprasi, pusat rehabilitasi, pusat pengajaran untuk orang ramai dan juga sebagai tempat museum.
These projects, and for your information, another group led by Dr. Lim Yong Long has successfully convinced the government to submit this site as a World Heritage Site. Now it is currently listed as the tentative list and the World Cultural Heritage Site. Yeah, so if you want to know more information about this place, you may look on to www.valleyofhope.my. There are enough information if you want to know more. If you feel like want to visit this place, you are more than welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chee.